jewel thief says the Epstein tapes are real, and he's seen them. Next. Out about Ghislaine Maxwell from a jewel thief. He says Maxwell bragged about having video of at least 2 high-profile politicians and other powerful figures, and that he's seen the tapes himself. An attorney for Prince Andrew accuser, Virginia Roberts, says the prince is one of them, and Roberts says he should be worried.
We weren't anything important to them at all. We weren't even a human being to them. We were just another toy to be passed around, and that's what they did. Prince Andrew should be panicking at the moment because Ghislaine doesn't really care about anyone else but Ghislaine.
So who else should be worried? Joining me now, Daniel Halper, co-author of the book A Convenient Death, The Mysterious Demise of Jeffrey Epstein. I've read it. It's excellent reporting by him and his co-author. All right, so this guy's a jewel thief. You can kind of judge the veracity for yourself. He told a tabloid in Great Britain about this. So this is what he said. He said, you know, Ghislaine and Epstein kind of boasted to him about owning powerful people. He said he saw videos of powerful people, celebrities, world figures, in videos having sex, threesomes, even orgies with minors. He saw videos and photos of people having sex with various young girls, and there was footage of 2 very high-profile society figures with an underage girl and the 2 American politicians in videos with minors. You've done some reporting on Epstein and Ghislaine. What do you make of this, Daniel?
Well, listen, I can't vouch for his precise claims, obviously, but it's very consistent with what we know. We know that Ghislaine Maxwell was a procurer for Jeffrey Epstein. That's been alleged by many victims. And we know worse that she partook in the sexual crimes against these women in many cases. I think one thing to consider is that Ghislaine Maxwell herself was found in America. And I think it's a very striking point. Why was she here in America when she had 2 other passports in addition to an American passport? And she had $20 million. She could have gone anywhere in the world. And I think the answer is pretty obvious. She didn't fear getting caught here. She hadn't gotten caught for so long. The feds had showed no interest in her for so long, and she had gotten away with her crimes. She clearly has something over some powerful people's heads that allowed her to run free for so long. And I think it's very good that she's being brought to justice, and hopefully she does cooperate with prosecutors and they try to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, I mean, she's in a horrible cell in a correctional facility, and they're not going to let anything happen to her after the mistake they made with Epstein. So you've reported, and other people have reported, that every single property he owned, from Paris to the Virgin Islands to New Mexico, Palm Beach to Manhattan, was wired. Like, this was like the real world house. This was like, you know, the Big Brother. You know, cameras at every single corner. So if you're a high-profile individual and you ever went to an Epstein property over the last couple decades and you did anything inappropriate with any underage person, there will be surveillance footage backed up somewhere on a hard drive, which we have to assume the FBI seized during their raids when they went after Jeffrey and took him into custody. The amount of explosive evidence that we're looking at here, and if this really is true, that you're talking about well-known politicians and society types, does she have leverage if the FBI already has the tapes? I guess the only leverage would be that she could testify against people.
Yeah, look, that's obviously a legal question. And then, of course, there may be other situations of which there's not footage. There were accusations that some of these things took place in Ohio, for instance, that there hasn't been alleged that it's very well wired. I think one of the interesting things about Jeffrey Epstein's wiring of his place, and a lot of victims and friends of his have claimed that, is that Jeffrey Epstein would allow people at some point to know that they were filmed and that they were wired. It's very interesting. It wasn't just that he had everything on camera. He wanted people to know.
Well, let me ask you this, because you did some reporting quickly about questions about his ties to foreign intelligence activities. Ghislaine's father was alleged to have had some sort of ties to Israeli intelligence, I think you reported. There's always been questions about Epstein's role in compromising people for a foreign country. Do these tapes kind of lead you to believe that?
They've led many people to believe that. I think they're very serious questions. Why did he evade the law for so long? And people like Alex Acosta, when he was coming into the Trump administration, he told people in the Trump administration, allegedly, that he couldn't touch Epstein because he was tied to intelligence. So
wow.
I think Bill Barr should be transparent about what's going on, given what's happened to Jeffrey Epstein. I think we should know what's going on, and I think that would be very helpful in getting justice, hopefully.
Yeah, because that's what this is about. This is about justice for these underage victims. All right, great reporting, Dan. Thanks again.
Thank you, Jesse.